Elementary in Gulfport School District, and today we are going to be talking about matter, specifically the physical properties of matter. So before I get started and really get going into my lesson, I always like to look at the standard and the essential question. The essential question is just what we want to keep in our mind and be able to answer by the time we get to the end. So our standard is P.5.5A, and our essential question is how can we use physical properties to distinguish between different types of matter. So, fun facts about matter. Matter is all around you, even if you can't see it. The air that we breathe is made up of matter. The sun, the moon, the stars, and all of the planets are made of matter. Even you are made of matter. I'm made of matter. We are all made of matter. Now, I always like to start with a nice vocabulary lesson. It's fun. It gets my students excited. So let's get started.
Everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever touched is made of matter. Check it out. Matter is what everything is made of, from the grass on earth to the stars above. Matter is everything that you touch, your notebook, your baseball, even fruit punch. Some matter you can hold in your hand. Can you breathe matter?
Yes, you can!
Matter can exist in 3 different states. That's solid, liquid, and gas, okay. A pillow is a solid, so is a door. The walls, the table, the ceiling, the floor. The atoms are packed tight like the halls at dismissal. Moving around quickly is a real issue. Now a liquid could be oil, water, or paint. You could catch it in the cup outside when it rains. The atoms of a liquid are a bit more loose. Liquid takes the shape of the container you choose. Now gas, a state of matter that's hard to see. It fills up balloons, it's the air that you breathe. It's atoms, are loose like kids at recess, moving all over the place, they don't rest.
What's matter? Anything that takes up space, made of little tiny atoms to give it shape. When it gets hot or cold, atoms rearrange from solid to liquid to gas, okay?
What's matter? Anything that takes up space, made of little tiny atoms to give it shape. When it gets hot or cold, atoms rearrange from
solid to liquid
to gas, okay?
Here's a fact that might seem strange. Did you know that matter's state can change? Heat gives energy to atoms, so heat makes them speed up, cold makes them slow. Think of a liquid, water in a pot. Turn up the heat, the water gets hot till it boils and evaporates. The water's now with gas, its state has changed. Now put that glass of water in the freezer, it turns into ice. Guess the reason. Low temperature slows the atoms down. The water's now a solid, atoms don't move around. Now it's ice, but it can change back into a liquid, and that's a fact. Put the ice on the table, watch it melt quickly. The states change again from solid to liquid. Temperature changes, the energy matter has. Solid, liquid, gas, known as the states of matter. Don't get mad at it, we pull matter out of the hat like a rabbit. What's matter? Anything that takes up space, made of little tiny atoms to give it shape. When it gets hot or cold, atoms rearrange from solid to liquid to gas, okay?
What's matter? Anything that takes up space, made of little tiny atoms to give it shape. When it gets hot or cold, atoms rearrange from
solid to liquid
to gas, okay?
All right, so now that we have learned a little bit more about matter, we can actually get into the physical properties. I really like that vocabulary video because it gives you definitions and terms and all the things you need to know about matter. So now that we gained a little more knowledge, let's get into the physical properties of matter. So what are physical properties? Physical properties are characteristics, traits, or qualities that can be observed or measured without changing the composition of a substance. Some examples of physical properties: for one, the physical state. In that vocabulary video, it talked about solids, liquids, and gases. Those are the physical states of matter. The appearance, how an object looks or appears, its color, its size, its shape. Those are physical properties. Melting point, that is the temperature at which a solid turns to a liquid due to heat. Boiling point, that is the temperature at which a liquid turns to water vapor. It mentioned that in that vocabulary video. Texture, how an object feels. Is it rough? Is it soft? Is it smooth? That's the texture. Thermal or heat conductivity. That is the ability of a material to conduct or pass on heat. All of these are physical properties of matter. More examples. Electrical conductivity. That is the ability of an electric current to flow through a material. Temperature. How hot or cold an object or substance is. Solubility. The ability of a substance to mix in a liquid. Magnetism, a force that can attract or pull closer or repel, push away, objects that have a magnetic material like iron inside of them. Weight, that is the force of gravity on an object. Mass, that is the amount of matter that is in an object. Then lastly, we have volume and density. Volume is the amount of space that an object takes up. And density is how much space an object or substance takes up in relation to the amount of matter in that object or substance. So density also involves volume and mass. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. So those are just some examples of the physical properties of matter. We watched the vocabulary video and that told us exactly what matter is. So now I think we're ready to do a little practice. So one site that I love is Quizlet, and it gives you wonderful practice for things like this. So we are going to do the physical properties of matter. And again, I love Quizlet because it gives you so many options for studying, and you can study just about anything you like on Quizlet. And if it's not on Quizlet, you can make it yourself. So I really enjoy that. Our first term is magnetism. If we touch it, it'll tell us what it means, which we know because we just went over it, but we're just trying to make sure we know, make sure it's locked in. Magnetism is the ability of an object to attract certain metal objects. Mass, that is the amount of matter in a solid, liquid, or gas. A solid is a substance that has a definite shape and definite volume. Make the picture bigger for us. Volume, that is the amount of space an object occupies. You'll also learn about volume in math. A liquid, that is a substance that has a definite volume but no definite shape. Relative density, how much matter is packed into a certain volume. It'll sink or float compared to water, depending on how dense it is. A gas, a substance without a definite shape or definite volume. Solubility, the ability of one substance to dissolve in another. Physical properties, that's what we're learning all about today. You can observe these properties of matter with your 5 senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Matter, also what we're learning about today. Anything that has mass and volume. Conductor, allows energy to flow through. So remember when we talked about thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. Both of those, that word conduct or conductor, means allows energy to flow through. And lastly, we have insulator. They do not allow energy to flow through. All right, so we went over our flashcard. Now let's keep on doing just a little more practice. All right, so we have finished our flashcards. So we did our vocabulary. We went over our presentation. We've done our flashcards. So I think we're pretty good to go. But we're going to skip on down to the game because it also has a portion where you can play. And we're going to do the matching game. So we have to match the terms with the definitions. I think we can do it. I think we got it. All right. Oh, and it's timing us. So let's see. Let's see. The ability of objects to attract certain metal objects. I know that's magnetism. A substance that has a definite volume but no definite shape, that is a liquid, does not allow energy to flow through. Insulator. You can observe these properties with your five senses: sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Those are physical properties. We know that one. The amount of matter in a solid, liquid, or gas, that is mass. The ability of one substance, well, to dissolve in another. This is all that's left. I'm going to go with solubility. Oh, way to beat your previous record. All right, so we did really well. I think we got all of those correct. Now, we have finished our Quizlet. We went over our flashcards. We played our game. We did our vocabulary. And we went over our presentation. So I think we're pretty good to go. I hope you all learned a lot.